you can let this go. So let's talk to Peter Wehner. He served in 3 Republican administrations, Reagan, Bush 41, and Bush 43. Peter, a pleasure to have you on. Welcome.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, so first up, just hearing Giuliani say one thing one week and another thing another week on a, essential piece of this whole investigation. What say you?
Well, I'd say that Rudy Giuliani's had and seen better days, but this is really the coin of the realm with these guys. They say one thing one day, something else the other day. We've had it with Jay Sekulow, but you got to take a step back here. This is an administration that deals in lies, and they've given us an avalanche of lies and misstatements. So they are living in a kind of post-truth world, or trying to create one, and they're just throwing stuff on the wall to see what can stick and what doesn't. So seeing Rudy Giuliani embarrass himself is something that I guess we've come to expect. It's a sad thing to see, but it's also a pernicious thing because this is all part of an effort to discredit institutions and individuals who are trying to get to the truth and reality of things as they relate to Donald Trump and his wrongdoings.
As far as throwing things on the wall and seeing what sticks, I want you to tell me, as a just from a legal perspective, what you hear in this. If you listen closely, because Giuliani actually doesn't deny the conversation took place, right, about Flynn between Trump and Comey. He says that Trump will testify that it did not take place. The nuance there.
Yeah, look, they're trying to get nuanced more and more because they're worried that the Mueller investigation is closing in on them and that there's evidence to contradict what they've said. So they're trying to create escape hatches and ways out. But it's not going to work. In the end, Robert Mueller is going to come forward with his report. My suspicion is it's going to be a very powerful indictment that's going to demonstrate layers and layers of wrongdoing. And so all that Trump and his supporters are going to be able to do is to try and slander Mueller and discredit the investigation. Not because those charges will be true. They're not. Robert Mueller's a man of tremendous integrity, and the investigation is first class. But that's what they've been reduced to. This is the end justifies the means. This is an administration surrounded by supporters who say that they've got to do whatever they have to do and say whatever they have to say to try and protect Donald Trump. And the stronger the Mueller case is, the more the slanders increase and the more the attacks and efforts to delegitimize the investigation increase.
As we're talking, Peter, I don't know if you have a TV in front of you, but for everyone watching along and you're wondering what is going on. So obviously there's the president, and he's in Fort Drum, and he's there to sign this $616 billion National Defense Authorization Act. And so what you're looking at is an actual drill that's happening here in Fort Drum for the president, just to let people know what's going on. And he'll be signing this defense bill, which is actually named after John McCain.
That's right,
Peter, who is a frequent Trump critic. So
he is, and an American hero, and somebody that was also slandered by Donald Trump during the 2016 campaign.
Yep. As we stay on these pictures, I just want to continue on in the conversation, because in recent days we've been hearing, escalated rhetoric from Fox News hosts. Right. So here is just the latest example.
Robert Mueller is a greater threat to this republic and the Constitution than anything Vladimir Putin did during the campaign.
Is Mueller a greater threat than Putin to this country?
Well, he's a serious threat.
You heard her question. This is the only show the president watches, Peter, transmitting a message that Putin is less of a threat than a specially appointed former FBI agent.
Yeah, this is insane, and it just shows you that with these people, there's no bottom when it comes to defending Donald Trump. Vladimir Putin is a dictator. He's repressive. He's killed journalists. He's an adversary of the United States, and he intervened in the 2016 election and tried to tilt the outcome. The idea that Robert Mueller is a bigger threat to America than Putin is crazy. It's the product of a fevered mind. He's not a threat to America. Robert Mueller is a threat to Donald Trump. They're not the same thing. Now, I know his supporters think they are, but this is not Louis XIV. I am the state. There's a difference between America and Donald Trump. And I'm telling you, what you have to understand is what's going on here is the stronger the case that Robert Mueller has, the more vitriolic, the more acrimonious, the more libelous his supporters are going to be in their attacks on Robert Mueller. It's actually a sign of the strength of the case that Mueller is assessing and their fear of what he's going to reveal. If Robert Mueller didn't have anything, they would ignore him, but they know that he's got something, and they can't refute it on the facts. So they have to try and delegitimize him and the investigation. But in the end, the truth will out. And I don't think they're going to get away with it. They certainly shouldn't. What's happening here is a cynical and dishonest game.
Speaking of Putin, there has been this whole back and forth. You know, Trump's been tweeting today before, obviously, he's arrived and you know, standing with our nation's military here in Fort Drum. He's been tweeting, and so he was actually tweeting about his former foe, someone else who wanted to be president, you know, the Ohio Governor John Kasich. And so the president was saying that he saying that he heard an Ohio Republican's Senate campaign. And so Kasich responds. We have the clip on the screen, which is, of all people, Vladimir Putin laughing from the Ohio governor.
Right. It's unusual to see a Republican governor troll a Republican president, but that's life under Donald Trump. Yeah, in that race, it was the Ohio 12th district. You know, I don't think there's much question that the Kasich endorsement was more helpful to the Republican candidate than the Trump one. I think the Trump endorsement probably helped, but Kasich helped more. He's certainly a lot more popular in Ohio. But this is an illustration of what politics under Donald Trump has become. This is like a reality game show. It's trivial, it's unserious, and he has a way of pulling almost everybody who's involved in politics into it with him. And we can't let that happen, because politics is about a lot of things, but politics finally and fundamentally is about justice and promoting the human good and the common good. And we can't allow this kind of cynicism and this kind of triviality to take over. We need people to defend politics and to embody what it can be. And Trump is the antithesis of that. And I think the trick for his critics is to find out how you can make a case against him without being drawn down into the muck with him. And it's not always an easy thing to do.
Peter Wehner,